Hey y'all, welcome to episode 38 of the Stay at Home Son podcast. And today we have a very special episode, but honestly, every episode of the Stay at Home Son podcast is a special episode. But it kind of is a special episode because we're going to review one of our good friends' films. Thomas Dimopoulos is with his new short film called Santa Claus Will Save Us from His Sins. This just got released live on YouTube, but it was we had the private link for a little bit, so we got to see it when no one else could. But if you were in New York at the Millennial Film Screening in Brooklyn, you were actually able to get a sneak peek of it and see it there. So congrats to Thomas and Wig Wolf for going up there and showing their films. If any of y'all have any experience screening films at Millennial Film, let us know because I'm looking for some places to screen the Stay at Home Sons films because we got a doc coming out soon. But yeah, Thomas, you want to get us started with your initial thoughts and reaction to the movie?
So basically, the movie follows two people, boyfriend and girlfriend, and basically they kind of like abandon their parents, I guess, and make the trip to the North Pole to find Santa Claus and ask for forgiveness, hence the title of this movie. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty funny movie, but I was talking about this a little bit with you just before we started this, but I guess I couldn't really follow it. Like it took me a while to understand like the whole Santa Claus thing. I'm like, wait a minute, why are they asking Santa Claus to forgive them of their sins?
Yeah, I will say I really liked the characters. I thought Mr. Jiggles was hilarious, his little rap or whatever. I was like, man, that could he could rival Biggie Smalls. But it was pretty good. And I thought the cloud obsessed girlfriend, she kind of reminded me of some girls I went to high school with, like that kind of attitude and stuff. So I loved the characters. I think in a short little film, it was cool that the characters were so developed like that, and I could really like and a little bit it didn't take me long to realize I was gonna like the characters in this film. The one thing I did get a little confused of is I was confused on what the sin was. What's the sin that they're trying to get forgiven? I don't know if I didn't notice that in the first watch because I watched it twice to try to pick that up. I don't really
My
remember.
interpretation was the leaving the parents was the sin, but I don't know.
Okay, so maybe the leaving the parents is sin because you know how they kept repeating like, "Oh, there's nothing like young love. There's nothing like young love," and they kept repeating it. And I noticed Thomas does that in some of his films. Like he'll get the characters to say because the way he directs his films, they almost kind of deliver the dialogue in almost a flat way, and I think that's a stylistic choice. I think it's kind of to almost make like a dreamy like atmosphere, kind of like it almost sounds like the internal dialogue in your head speaking, like when you have the voice in your head talking to you when you have like an idea or something. It's very flat, and I think that's a intentional. But when they keep repeating the fact like, oh, young love, I think you might be right on that, that they feel sinful for leaving their parents because they feel like they're in such love with each other that they can't listen to their parents. So I think that might be what it is. But yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I just want to point out also, I kind of like the ending where like he gives the speech about oh, you wasted your whole life if you don't believe that this is real and he's going to forgive us your sins. I thought that was kind of funny. So
Yeah, it was. And I was dying laughing when they're like, okay, let's go find Santa Claus. And they literally just get in the car and start trying. That was pretty funny. But there is something kind of profound to it. I've been getting a lot into religion lately. I mean, I've always been religious, but I'm like more religious now lately because I've just had some personal things happen, good personal things happen that kind of made me realize, maybe there's more to life than I thought. And I will say that now that I'm becoming a little more religious, I'm starting to get a little more critical of, I guess you could say, like monetizing religion and like kind of making a mockery of it. And like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and stuff like that. Like, why does the Cloud Girl have rabbit ears on? Like maybe that's a idiom of like the Easter Bunny, and maybe the Santa Claus is almost like saying how in like modern day religion is almost taken as like this like almost like a cash grab. You got like Santa Clauses and stuff, and still, and, like kids are more excited these days to go downstairs and open their presents because of Santa, and they don't even realize that the only reason they're celebrating the holiday is because it's the birth of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a poke at that, and maybe it's a poke of like how as a culture we kind of lost our way with religion for like more monetary value and stuff like that. So maybe that's kind of what I got from it because when you hear the title, as a Christian, when you hear Santa Claus will save us from sins, at first you're like, you laugh, but then you're also a little offended. But, I'm fine with films that make me kind of put me on edge a little bit about stuff because I think it's going to challenge what I think. And I think it was done very well. And I think this was almost like a critique at it was actually more of a religious thing than anything because it was almost a critique at the way that people, kind of pervert religion a little bit sometimes, because I think like the Easter Bunny and stuff like that's offensive. So I think it's kind of cool that someone's poking fun at that.
that's a very interesting interpretation of it. Because honestly, with these movies, I just think that like Thomas and Wig Wolf have had such like outlandish and out there things that it's just like, oh, that probably just popped in their head and like while they were like, I don't know, like like on the computer or whatever, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do this today. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I know I like one thing I like about about like indie filmmakers is they always have to reuse the same actors because like we don't have a big pool of people. So the guy who plays Mr. Jiggles in this is the same guy that's in Thomas's film Texas Roadside Pig. So I think that's funny how you just see the same actors get reused. I think that's like that's so indie because like for our films it's always just gonna be you and me in it. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the film. I definitely thought it was a little different than Thomas's other films in the sense that it wasn't super like saturated and experimental. You know how like some of his films will just have like these crazy scenes that are just like very artistic, very this was almost like very like narrative driven, which I thought was pretty cool. It was more of a like a sit down and watch movie. It kind of reminded me of Crush Cats a little bit in that sense, where it was kind of more narrative driven. So that was pretty cool. But there's also, I don't know if you saw Thomas, but Wigwolf is shooting a documentary on Thomas.
I did see that on Instagram. I thought that was very interesting. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think they'll probably have us review that, but I'm excited to see that. I want to see because they had some fun in New York, man. Because I'm hoping we get ourselves a festival run next year for the documentary and for a Payne's Branch. So I'm gonna look into that millennial film where they screen there because I think that would be a good place to screen a documentary. Right in New York, people might be interested.
I don't believe that we've told our audience about our documentary yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I think we mentioned it. So Thomas, I mean, shoot, you're the brainchild behind it. So you want to go and introduce our documentary to everyone right now?
Okay, so I'm working on a production of a Appalachian community in upstate New York, in Allegheny County, New York, which is actually New York's poorest county. So, I'm planning on doing a festival run. I'm planning on submitting to the Boondocks Film Festival in North Carolina and a couple other film festivals. To We haven't really finished editing, so I don't know what the layout of it is going to be yet. But basically, we're going to be exploring economic, environmental, and other um, aspects of the Appalachian region of upstate New York.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've been working really hard on it. We got to, interact with some really cool people, and we got to hear their side of the story. And Thomas, man, he really took one for the team because he went all the way out there to get the B-roll that we needed. So good job on you for that, Thomas, because I'm really excited about this documentary for sure. It's a lot different than what we normally do, but we are hoping that we could actually maybe get this licensed by PBS and maybe have it sold for people to watch on TV. Never know. So we're definitely gonna try with that, and we're really excited for it because this will be our second ever production with the company. So we're excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great I thought it was a great experience going up there. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I actually ran into a farmer who we interviewed while we were up there. I did not plan on that, and that was a really good interview. So,
And I haven't looked at any of the B-roll yet, y'all. So I'm excited to see it because I like to see B-roll in person because some things I might overlook, and then the person who shot it's like, well, this is actually why I took that. I'm like, oh, okay, shoot, because I might have not thought that was anything. So I've been adamant on not looking at B-roll until you're looking at it with the guy who took it, like cameraman and whatnot. So I'm really excited. Next week, I'm hoping we're gonna meet up. And we'll try to document this process a little more because one thing I wish we did on Payne's Branch was like more behind the scenes stuff of like making it. And I wish we did that a little bit more because it was our first movie, so we didn't know. But on this one, now that we've made films and made stuff before, I'm hoping we document our process a little bit more so we can provide y'all with some cool behind the scenes stuff, of us going to festivals, of us like kind of showing what it is. We might even make a whole different podcast series on our show to kind of like talk about this documentary and what we learned from it and stuff. So look out for that. We're gonna start really editing that hard this month, and we're hoping to have it out by September.
all right.
But
I
anyway, Thomas, you got any final thoughts on our film today of Santa Claus will save us from our sins?
I thought it was a really, like I said, I thought it was a really funny movie. I just think that's one of those that you have to watch like multiple times just to kind of like get the gist of it.
Yeah, definitely. One other thing I'll say is I really like the music. I like that like kind of church choiry music in the back. It kind of was unsettling and it kind of like set the vibe a little bit. That was pretty cool. And like I said, Thomas always has a little acoustic song he writes at the end. So I'm always sitting around waiting for the song to come on. So I like this song a lot. It was in that classic Thomas style. I heard Thomas actually has an album out now. I think it's called like Beats, Ballads, and Other Oddities or something like that. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm gonna have to check that out because if y'all like Thomas Dimopoulos' music at the end of the shorts, he actually has a new musical album now. So I'll link that below so y'all can check that out. But anyway, Thomas, I'm excited to see your documentary, man. We're happy for you. We like this new short film, and you got our full support, man. You and Wigwolf, y'all the boys around here. But anyway, Thomas, you want to do the honors?
And remember, stay at home.